Okay, so I haven't made a video in a while. The last video I ended up making was the vlog that I put out in Bali, and obviously a lot's happened in that time. There's been many breakthroughs, many ups, many downs since that point. Um, Very luckily for me, like a lot of it's been very good. I'll be completely honest. Over the past 3 months, it's crazy that time has gone past that quickly. But I thought I'd throw out a quick video since I want to get back into the swing of posting content consistently. For me, is like a big problem that I seem to have is consistency around content. I don't know why that is the case. Potentially, I have an internal belief system that it's something that does not come naturally to me. So in order to make content, it's there's a lot of friction around it. It's never been an easy thing for me. But obviously over time I've got more and more comfortable around the camera. So I feel like I'm not as bad as I once was. So therefore I should hone in on the skill that I've developed over time. Regardless, I'm going to make this video about like why 99% of agency owners that I meet end up going broke or can never get past 10,000 a month. The first point I want to touch on is they spend hours on just how can I put this? Uh Tasks that don't move the needle. You having a new logo, you having some type of brand kit, something like that is not going to move the needle for you, especially in the beginning stages. Now, I'm talking about people below 10,000 a month roughly. If you're in that 1 to 10,000 a month range, having a new logo is not going to move the needle. It's not going to get you the clients. Tweaking your offer constantly, although it may help, is just as long as you have your initial decent offer, just run with it. A lot of the time, it's just about acquisition in those stages. And just touching on acquisition there, like I said, it's just about basically acquisition. But you guys don't do any outreach, you don't do any follow up. You kind of treat your agency almost like a side hustle, not like a full blown business, not like something that can turn into something. You almost treat it like, oh, this isn't going to work out. There's no real steam, there's no real momentum behind it. You need to change this whole philosophy that you have around this. When you end up starting your agency, when you end up starting your business, although it may not feel like a real business to you, it is real. This is a real business that you're going to be serving real people and they're going to be giving out real money in order to you to get your help. So you need to treat it as such. It needs to become extremely serious to you, and you need to treat it with a certain level of respect. That means when you do your outreach, doing follow up, when people ask for your help, actually giving it, giving free value first, going out of your way to be an actual asset to the market in order to get monetary returns. Another thing that I only stepped out of probably 8 months ago. So I'm not even that much further ahead than you, to be honest, because my learning curve on this was it took a while, I'm not gonna lie, and it actually took a close friend of mine to take me out of that mind frame because he had been out of that mind frame. So he could almost extend a hand down to me and be like, "Look, this is not how you do this. You need to be running it like this." And what that was I was delivering like a freelancer, not like a business owner. Now, what I mean by that is that I was doing all the fulfillment myself across 10 plus accounts, whatever it may be. You may only have 3 accounts, 4 accounts, but you're still fulfilling all these accounts yourself. Now, although I believe you need to fulfill these accounts somewhat in the beginning to get your knowledge up, get your breadth of understanding up, when you surpass around 5 accounts, you want to start treating this like a business owner. You need to step out of your freelancing shoes. If you cannot step away from a week for a weekend, if you not cannot step away for a couple days without being in an account, what you've built is a job, not a business. You need to be delegating and outsourcing to people better than you. So let's say you're in an account like me, Meta Ads. Your first hire would be a media buyer to assign to these accounts, somebody better than you that can apply the strategy and implementation of campaigns so you don't have to. You scale through delegation, not hustle. You need to be leveraging other people's times. Just you doing it, there's not enough hours in the day. You won't be able to do everything you need to do. Another big thing for new agency owners, people scaling above 10K a month, is they have no systems. You don't have any onboarding systems, you have no standard operating procedures, you have no structure. If you were to bring some new hire into your business, you would have no resources to give them, no guidelines to give them. As you pass over 10K and after you've made a couple of hires, you'll realize that one of the biggest problems is that you have no direction. Now, one of the biggest implementations that I made amongst my team was a daily workflow SOP that I actually got off Charlie Morgan. Now, I was having confusion around what everyone's doing, how many hours they're working on certain tasks, what they're doing right now, and I'd have to manually message them, and be like, What are you working on now? Every 3 hours, 4 hours, and I was micromanaging my whole team. When I implemented my daily workflow SOP, for example, this is just one example of many, but when I implemented my daily workflow SOP, the efficiency of my team probably 10x overnight. Overnight. And my friends, my close friends know, because it went from me struggling, being like, fuck, like busy, 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 busy. And then I implemented that one system and I was fine. Everyone was working smoothly. My team was able to operate efficiently. And I was able to take a step back and again be a business owner and delegate. You need a machine that runs without you. So I'll leave you with that point and hopefully that makes sense. Generic equals forgettable. Specialist gets referrals, generalists don't usually get anything. You need to pick one vertical, solve one problem, and become the obvious choice. Now, let's look at some figureheads in the industry. We've got Jackson Blackledge. When you think of Jackson Blackledge, you don't think meta ads, email, Google, you don't think somebody that's going to come fucking mow your lawn. You don't think of some guy you can just pay to do everything. That's not what you think. You think, okay, yeah, Jackson Blackledge, Google. Okay, and now let's look at another example. You look at Caleb Canales, Google. You look at Hamza, for example, a close friend of mine. Let's use you think Google, or you think overall business fucking kingpin, right? You think of who is another big person in the industry? You look at Iman Gadzi, you think software, or you think agency. Usually, you would think agency, but you think of these people, and you know what niche they do. So you need to provide for a niche so people understand exactly who you serve. So there's no guesswork about it. Become the top 10% in your niche, in your industry. Now you need to get out of the habit of doing you need to get out of the habit of doing busy admin work and not building. You're designing decks, editing videos, answering emails. That is not leverage. These are not the levers that you need to be pulling on. That is busy work. These are things that are going to distract you over time that make you feel like, oh, I'm so busy. I've done so much today. But in terms of actual IPAs, income producing activities, things that genuinely move the needle towards where you need to be, you have done nothing. You could even look back over a 6 month period and realize, fuck, I have done maybe 5 things that are IPAs, which is outreach, follow up. That's it. Okay. And I'm talking about these as a one time off thing. Like you've not really done much. The rest of the time was spent in accounts. The rest of the time was spent answering emails. The rest of the time was spent networking. You've done no actual IPAs. You should be focusing on hiring better than you. You should be focusing on building systems. You should be focusing on the marketing strategy that you're implementing and the overall business as a whole, not replying back to emails. One thing that I will tell you, and this is going to be my last point, is do not tolerate bad clients. I have had probably two quite bad clients. One that kept refunding and was being extremely annoying. It was not worth the headache. And another one that every time I told them to implement information, even though they're paying me a $3,000 a month retainer, they would never listen. Their ability to execute on information that I had given them was extremely poor, and then they would blame you for that. They would blame you for their insufficient, their shortcomings. Okay, um, and yeah, these bad clients are not worth the headache. You're better off freeing up your mental load with these bad clients by just getting rid of them, and going and using what time you would have spent on these bad clients towards good clients. Go out and prospect. Go back to focusing on IPAs. Don't fuck around with these shitty low level clients that are just going to give you a headache. Obviously, within your life, you're going to come across bad clients. It is almost written like it's going to happen, but you need to be able to pick up on that and say, okay, look, I don't like the way we gel together, no problem, I'm going to go my separate way, here's your refund, or we'll see out the month with them, and then be like, look, we're going to go our separate ways. Get rid of these clients. Trust me, it will it will be a fucking the best thing you've ever done. And just to add to that point, please don't ever charge any less than 1,000 a month as an agency owner to these clients. You will be extremely drained for a high amount of work. Um, bad bad clients kill confidence. They kill your brand. They kill your time. It's really, really not worth it. Regardless, I hope this video has been somewhat educational. I just wanted to get back in the swing of things. As I kind of mentioned at the start, I did want to just post something out for the sake of posting something out because it's been a while. Um, Hopefully, it didn't come across as too rushed or anything of that sense. But hopefully, you do kind of see the difference between people that operate at a high level and people that operate at that 1 to 10K a month point. You need to really break out, and you need to become before you are. So hopefully that's helpful, and I will see you soon.